Hi, so I'm here today to show you some pretty simple biomechanics drills that you can do to warm your body up for running. But these aren't just running warm-ups, these actually help us build the muscle and stability for your most empowered running form and for injury prevention. So you can do these before each of your runs, especially the runs that are going to be more effortful, but I also recommend doing them on your active recovery days. Again, the goal here is to start pumping blood into our muscles before they start demanding so much oxygen on the run, and also to develop the muscles that support our best running form, which is the best way to make different tweaks to your running form and your biomechanics, so that when you're out on the run, you can just focus on vibing and enjoying the run itself, finding your flow and basking in all of that joy that we get to do this amazing thing instead of thinking about or being hyper vigilant about your running form. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're just going to notice our alignment and our posture, okay? So we are going to release some tension. So we're going to inhale and pick those shoulders up towards our ears and exhale, letting them drop. And we don't want our shoulders forward or back. We're just noticing the difference between our shoulders and our ears as they align, because we can tend to carry tension in our shoulders, so we want them fully relaxed here. Maybe we do it one more time and drop them. And now we want to pull our shoulders back and relax them forward. So we're again noticing the difference between shoulders back and relaxed shoulders here. Sometimes when we run, we tend to jet our chest out. We're trying to notice the difference between that so we can make those adjustments and stay neutral. Now we pull them forward and relax. Okay, so we're going to start out by just swinging our arms from our shoulders. So we want our clavicles here to be pretty stable, and we want to swing from that ball and socket joint forward and back. We want all of our energy to be going forward and back. Now I'm going to bring my arms up towards a 90-degree angle. I want my hands to be relaxed, like I'm holding a potato chip in my hands. And I'm going to try, you notice I was just twisting. We're going to try not to twist. We're going to stay stable, and we're just going to use our arms here. So what we're doing is we're creating some muscle memory to where we're not crossing our center plane a little bit. We want all of our energy to be forward and back, and we want just our arms working. Our arms and our legs are connected, but also we don't want our arms exerting more energy than they need to. We want to focus on efficiency. And we'll also I notice my body wanting to twist. That tends to be because there might be some muscles that are a little weak. We just notice it, clock it, and then bring ourselves back to just our shoulders. So you might want to do this for about 20-30 seconds. Okay, so that's our arms. Now we're going to focus on our legs. So we're going to walk on our heels, pointing our toes up. You might give yourself maybe just like 10 meters. I'm not going to do a full thing, but we're just pointing our toes up. Now then, when we're doing this, we're going to have our eyes up. We don't need to look down because we're creating muscle memory to kind of hunch over. We don't want to do that. So our eyes are going to be up. Our ribs are going to be over our pelvis. We're going to stay nice and aligned, and we're just going to walk forward, toes pointed up. Okay? When you've done that for about 10 or 20 meters, you can pop up onto your toes. We're just going to walk on our toes. And again, I'm going to stay aligned, nice and aligned, okay? So I'm not going to be hunching forward. I'm not going to be poking my chest out. I'm going to think about rising up through my ribs and staying nice and tall, okay? Eyes up. So what this is doing is we're bringing some mobility and some strength and stability into our ankles and into our calves and our anterior tibialis. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are just going to hop up and down on our ankles. Our knees don't want to lock out, okay, but a slight bend in your knees is okay, but we want to really be powering from our ankles. So we can do this for about 30 seconds. A variation of this can be just to pump up and down very slightly. And if you need to hold on to something, that is totally okay too. So what we're doing when we're doing these little bounces, again staying nice and aligned here, is I'm pumping blood, oxygenated blood, into my calves and into my anterior tibialis. This is priming my lower leg for load so that I'm avoiding I'm helping to prevent shin splints, okay? So the next thing that we're gonna do, so we're gonna do this 20-30 seconds, little hops, nice and aligned, staying nice and tall, creating space between my ribs. All right, so once I've done that, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna be really gentle with myself here. We're gonna do some knee lifts, okay? So I'm just gonna start picking my legs up, okay? I'm gonna keep my toes pointed up, and I'm gonna start bringing my arms into the game here. I'm just gonna kind of march in place. My knees are at about a 90-degree angle. And what I want to think about here is staying nice and tall. I want my ribs and my pelvis to be aligned here, okay? My shoulders are relaxed, my eyes are up. Now, if you might have some hip flexor issues, you don't have to bring your legs up too high here, okay? Just a little higher than usual is totally fine. We're just warming our bodies up. The next thing that we're gonna do is called, you might have heard them called butt kicks. I call them scrapes, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna imagine that the ground is covered in eggshells. And we're gonna take our feet and we're just gonna scrape them back. Okay, I also call these paw backs. And again, what we don't want to do is we don't want to lean forward while we're doing this. We're creating stability and we're creating muscle, okay? We're just scraping the eggshells back. And as you start to warm up, then you maybe can pick up the cadence just a little bit here. So we want to do that about 20-30 times. Same thing with the knee lifts. Now I want to give a variation to the pawbacks or the scrapes. Some of us actually might find that we are able to fire our glutes by taking our ankle and our foot from a flexion here to a point. This helps us create stability in our ankle and mobility at the same time, and it helps to fire our glutes. So I actually like to have that motion in my ankle. But if you watch elites, some of them when they run, they have that motion here where their foot comes to a point. Some of them keep it flexed as their leg comes back into that back swing. So it's really up to you and your body what feels good to you. So that's a variation that you can do. All right, so now we're gonna get a little more active. So what we've done here is we've worked on our arms, and we have primed our lower leg for load, and now we've gotten a little bit more active. Next thing we're gonna do is called ankling. So we're gonna take about 10 meters, 10 to 20 meters, and we're gonna just pump up and down from our ankles. And you can act like you're pushing a pedal down. So our feet aren't really gonna come up off the ground, but I wanna have a very quick foot here, and we're just gonna move forward like this. So what I wanna think about is staying nice and tall, and I wanna focus on cadence. So I wanna have a nice quick foot. What we want to do is we want to minimize the amount of force that we're putting into the ground. And one of the ways that we do that is by quickening our cadence. It makes for more efficient running, and it helps us prevent injury. So we're going to go forward about 10 meters. Okay, so once you've done that, that's called ankling. We're going to do just a couple more to get nice and warm. So the next one we're going to do is called figure fours. Now you can do this holding on to something if you would like to. You don't have to. If you can do it standing straight, that's totally fine, unassisted. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that high knee and that scrape, that paw back, into relationship with each other. And I'm going to stand on my left leg, and I'm going to take this right leg, and I'm just going to zip my foot up my inseam like a flamingo. And I'm gonna pump with my arms, gonna stay nice and tall, and I'm gonna do my best not to shift my hip over. Now you might notice a little bit of hip shift. Just notice it, clock it. We're gonna be building the muscle to stabilize that. So you're just gonna pull up as quick as you can. As soon as your foot touches down, you're gonna pull up again.
Now we're gonna start out doing 10 of those. Once you've done 10, you can do the other side. As you progress, every couple of weeks, you can start adding reps and build up to 20 or 30 per leg, okay? So now we're firing all the muscles together. Okay, last one that we're gonna do is we're gonna do what are called A marches, all right? So these are just very simple, basic sorts of dynamic stretches that we can do to get our bodies ready. The last one that we're gonna do is A marches. So we're gonna take that marching motion, but we're gonna actually build in some propulsion through the hip. Now we're not gonna skip on this one. We're just gonna march, and as you march, you're gonna rise up onto your grounded leg. So it's just gonna be a pump up, okay? So we're gonna march and push up, march and push up, march and push up, march and push up. So you can take it as slow as you want to. The goal here is to fire through that hip, the grounded hip, because that is actually where our power comes from. And so developing power through the hip here is going to help you create the most efficient and empowered running that you can. And also at the same time, it is also going to help you get a full leg cycle and keep your hip flexors, your hips nice and mobile. So pumping, pumping, pumping. You'll do that for about 20 meters, 10 to 20 meters. And that's a really good basic slow warm-up before a nice easy run. I'll be making another video that's going to take it up a notch and get a little bit more active with those, but this is a really great basic biomechanics and stability warm-up for your best and most empowered running. Run joyful.